that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms.
I think I got it. I think I got a new platform idea for Canada. For my CPC, Campaign Platform for Canada. Canada currently is in this election period. We're choosing our new government, our next government, to represent Canadians in our federal government, and they're begging for Canadians to support them. Over the last number of years, Canadians have been looking to our government to actually listen to the people that they're currently asking to support them. Okay? But the government has been, you pesky little people, you don't understand the world today. But the pesky little people understand an economic crisis when their wallet looks as empty as my pocket. The key. How long will I have that before government reaches in there and grabs that one too? The latest narratives are, you know, the boomers ruined everything and that. And I mean, there's sort of an argument in there, but I think this could be a more constructive argument. One thing I ask a lot of the time when I hear people talking about, you know, how expensive it is to live in Canada, and, you know, it's just currently our economic status is so broken. And I wonder to myself, I think to myself, well, how did the boomers have it so much easier? How did they have more money in their pocket? How did people have more money in their pocket back in 2000? When the millennials were being born. And there was a whole new generation of young people coming into the world, all excited about the future. Well, it's kind of like your budget. The more you spend, the more you need to generate income for it. So we get to this point now where we've realized, holy crap, I'm being taxed at 50%. Or, you know, I'm taxed so bad that I got to choose between heat and food. I'm so taxed these days that I make dinner for my kids. I don't make dinner for the family anymore because, well, that costs a lot of money. I make dinner for my kids. Maybe I'll grab a sandwich later. Don't worry, I'll be okay. But, you know, when we hear the government talking about these issues, every single time, and it doesn't matter which party you're talking to, it's the same story. You know? Hey, we're going to solve your problem by creating a new program that costs more money. And then you have the media jumping on the conservatives. Well, how are you going to pay for it? And the media propping up the liberals, not even asking that question, which... Good job, media. So dumb. But they never attack this question the way you would attack your budget. You see, in your budget, you're the one that makes the sacrifice. Remember what I just said. People are taxed so bad, they're cooking dinner for their children. They'll grab something later. They're taking responsibility for the financial situation that they're in. Our government doesn't do that. It's falling on its face. we elect these new people to come in and, you know, represent us. Sorry, you're gonna hear a truck going by in a minute here. It's life on logging roads. Welcome to my world. You know, when you're homeless, this is what you end up with. Either way, that's irrelevant here. Well, it's either this or you go to a homeless encampment, which, no, I'm good, thanks. I'd rather get eaten by a bear than robbed by somebody addicted to drugs. Thanks. Appreciate that. Anyway, I can't be charged for self-defense against a bear, but you're darn right I'll get charged if I defend myself against an addict. Just saying. Anyway, off-topic rant. But a good segue to let the truck go by. Well, almost all the way. He'll be quiet in a second. He's gonna go around the bend and it'll be quiet. So when the government doesn't actually address the problem efficiently, and everyone's struggling how Canada can afford to live here and function, we keep expanding all these different programs and all this extra expenditure. And we fail to actually look inward on how we're going to reduce. Now you could say the Conservatives have shown they're gonna, you know, cut foreign aid, or, you know, they're cutting the housing accelerator plan to fund their housing plan. They're cutting the carbon tax to fund the income tax cut. But today's a special day. It's a special day for every one of those MPs. Yeah, every single one of them. You know what today is? The one thing Canadians have voted against for the last 4 years. By approximately 80%, Canadians have been against it. 4 years in a row. That I know of off the top of my head. It could be longer. I don't claim to know everything. I just tell you how I see it. What you do with that information is up to you. For 4 years now, every single year, on April Fool's Day, yeah, Canadians, here's your April Fool's joke. Every one of them MPs got a raise. Did you get a raise today? I didn't get a raise today. Did our pensioners get a raise today? Nope. No, don't think so. How about our veterans? Did they get a raise today? Nope. Have they got a raise 4 years in a row? Nope, don't think so. Nope. We're about to elect 338 more members of parliament into our government in 27 more days. These are representatives of you and me to caretake our money in our best interest to prosper us. That's the fundamental role of a federal government. How many of my viewers make over $200,000 a year? And get a pay raise every year. Don't forget that. The average MP in Ottawa right now, yesterday, made $203,000 a year. Gross. Don't forget, we got to pay our taxes. 50%. Or whatever it is. At that tax bracket, I don't know. Prime Minister makes $500,000. We're not going to divide it up into different ministries or anything like that. No. The average MP is $203,000. That doesn't mean the lowest one on the totem pole is making $203,000. But when you group them all together, that's what they're making. I think the lowest one is like 170,000 or something like that. If you're not an I don't know. Don't quote me on the numbers exactly. Hey man, do I look like an accountant? Do I look like I spend my days in a book going, "Ooh, there's a 0"? No, it's not my life, man. Sorry about your life. Sorry. Let's finish this conversation first, and then I'll deal with that. Canada spends a fortune. There's 338 people on average making $200,000. 338 times 200,000. Let's find out. Where's my calculator? There it is. No, that's calendar, not calculator. What am I doing? 338 times 200, 1, 2, 3 equals $67 million, 600,000. That's a lot of money. You and I pay for that. You and I have been paying that. Well, not quite that amount, but you might as well say 50 and up for the last 10 years. $50 million. Funny. It's kind of like the Arrive scam contract. Wasn't that $50 million? Anyway. One other thing that really bugs me, and currently you look at it in the way our current campaign is going on, is when you hear these people speak, you can tell they're speaking from their donors. Mark Carney's always about the carbon initiative and green technology and all this jazz, right? And he talks about, you know, his interrelation with the banking industry around the world and the global financial institutions and everything of this sort. And you look at his asset management that he, or the assets that he comes into Canada with that have nothing to do with Canada. You look at the influences that are pushed in from, like, China putting bounties on people and such. There's a lot of financial backroom workings going on, funding these campaigns. The Conservatives aren't innocent of this either. I just, off the top of my head, these are the things that have been going on lately, and it's been Liberal that I've been primarily focused on. The Conservatives aren't innocent on this, so don't get me wrong on this one. NDP aren't innocent on this. The Greens aren't innocent. It goes down the list because we allow private donation, and I think that's wrong. I don't think donation should be allowed to our political representatives. Now, what I'm going to suggest, a lot of people are going to get upset about. I'm going to say the Canadian government should pay for the election and the campaigns of every single candidate across Canada. Whoa, 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 whoa. We'll get to the cost in a minute. Okay? I think Elections Canada should pay for all the campaigns and all the expenses. Provable expenses can be written into what they are, what's an acceptable expense. Details can be worked out later, guys. Hear me out. This is concept, this is framework, this is thinking outside the box. They should pay for all that. There should not be allowed to be a donation to these campaigns. If you want to run for a campaign, to run for a candidate spot, you should be allowed to. There should be a requirement that you have to put a down payment. Like if we say, okay, every campaign gets $200,000. Okay? You can claim up to $200,000. Okay. Maybe we have to restrict it in how many people can actually apply to do this. I'm not sure. Again, framework, guys, framework. Work with me on this, okay? I'm one guy out in the middle of the bush, and I got crows to talk to. Bears, one-legged bears, and stuff like that. You know, come on. There's only so much I can do with one little... So let's pay for the campaigns. So this way it's an even board, even keel, even campaign across the board, and no outside funding pushing or paying for those campaigns. Whether they get kickback or not is meh. Questionable. We're not going that route. That's not what this is about. So, if we're going to do that, I mean, well, maybe what we should do, I got the cure. I got the cure. If you're going to run, you have to put the money up front, and the campaign that wins is the one that gets reimbursed. The top 3 get reimbursed. There we go. Top 3 get reimbursed. Yeah, it kind of kicks all the independents out, but the next thing I have to say might change that quite a bit. May not. I mean, I'm just one guy thinking this up, but it's kind of an idea, and maybe it might get manipulated. But, so let's move into that next thing. One of the biggest problems, sorry, I have a habit of walking. That's why I keep trying to turn away. Walking and talking. One of the biggest problems with the way our federal government works is that there's no working in between those parties. None whatsoever. One is strictly opposition, one is in power, and a third one is in power opposition. And another one is regional specific. So there's no inner workings between all these different parties. They can generate enough disdain for the party that's in power, but they can't actually do anything about it. They can complain about the ministries and mismanagement, but can't actually do anything about it. We can complain about the influence of a particular region over everywhere else, but we can't actually do anything about it. You ever put too much pasta on your plate when you're at the spaghetti factory? I remember that when I was a kid, going to the spaghetti factory with my family. We used to get a meal for everybody. It was kind of cool. And you go to the spaghetti factory and you get too much on your plate, but you're not paying the bill. So you're like, or even if you are paying the bill, you're like, I'm finishing this. I don't care. Gotta do it. And you keep gobbling down. This is kind of what our government is. We got all this cash. We gotta finish this. I don't care what anybody says. So let's finish it. We keep bloating ourselves. I'm one to talk. We keep bloating it up and bloating it up and bloating it up and bloating it up. But we never take any of the air out. We just keep making it more complex. For my CPC of Canada, Campaign Platform of Canada, I'm suggesting we shake the system. We shake the system to its very, very core. We change the way politics is done in Canada. It's the whole point of all these CPCs. We change the way Canada runs so that the people benefit the most. So my suggestion is this. We have approximately, 30 ministries currently? 30 ministries in our government. Okay, Ministry of Transportation, security, you know, all them different ministries. Ministry of Finance, all those different ministries. I'm going to suggest that we have, and we lock them in. We need to decide what's the most important ministries, and those get locked in and they are permanent. Okay? Give me a second to count. Yes. 39 ministries. That's it. There's always 39 ministries, no matter ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? We can sort out what they are and what departments they funnel into and all that jazz. That can all be sorted out. But there's 39 ministries. They're all equal. Sorry? 38 ministries. 37 ministries. No, 38. 38 ministries. Off the top of my head here, sorry. I had the concept in my head, and now I'm just kind of working out little details as I'm talking to you. 38 ministries, and every single MP in our government will be a minister. A minister of a department. Every single one of them. So, let's take, for example, the Conservatives win the election today. Or they win the election at the end of the month. If we could get all the details out and the CPC wasn't enacted, okay, that would mean there are only 38 ministers, and the Conservatives would have a majority of those. But they still have to hand out the rest of the ministries to the opposing parties. Those ministries now have to work with the government and oppose. Because let's be realistic. A health critic, or a finance critic, or a justice critic, the whole damn party is calling critic on these different portfolio. That's the word. On these portfolios. The whole damn party calls it out. We don't need a specific person that's the critic of this department. No. Why not make them a ministry so they can be accountable as well? Its government is a one thing. It's not one party in that government. Our government is the entire thing, all of Parliament. And I know a lot of you are going, wait a minute, Winmore. There's 338 seats and you're talking 38 MPs. That's right. There should only be 3 MPs from every province and every territory. Done. But Winmore, that's 39. That's right. Prime Minister takes over the Speaker's role. Yes, I can hear the controversies over this. But think about it for a minute. There's no more funding from outside sources into the campaign platforms and the campaign the campaigns for everybody. There's no more outside funding for that. So all of a sudden you lose your bankers running for Canada's Prime Minister. Well, if I'm not going to make any money, why the fuck would I do this? I could stay in the private sector and make more money. You have equal representation across the entire country. I don't care what your demographics are. I don't care what your population density is, especially when we're importing people to specific regions in Canada to overpopulate them. No more manipulation of this. Every province gets 3 representatives. Divide the provinces into 3 distinct districts. Your representative, you have a campaign run for that district. We're now only paying for 38 campaigns, not 338. But we've also dropped $200,000 salaries. That's $60 million. $60 million that we could use to run the campaigns. We've also, at this point, forced our government to actually work together in Parliament. We've also instilled that our Prime Minister, seeing as he's going to act like a freaking king, needs to play the mediator in the middle. Show that he's a representative of all Canadians, not of his party. I don't know. Maybe I'm some old kooky guy talking to a one-legged bear in the bush. But that's my CPC. My campaign platform for Canada. Give Canadians back control of Canada where it rightfully belongs. Enough with special interests. Enough with this party interest. It's time for government to work for Canadians, not for themselves. Welcome to the Fringe. Welcome to the Fringe.